And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of LeBron versus Patberg, step forward, please.
Receptionist Peggy LeBron is suing former friend, mechanical engineer Greg Patberg, for walking through a plate glass window in her home. Peggy says Greg was drunk on vodka.
This case is really sort of interesting. Miss LeBron, your husband was arrested.
Yes.
Because he went to shoot some of your neighbor's dogs with a BB gun.
Correct.
And as the police were taking him away, he told you to go and get the defendant, who was a bail bondsman.
Well, before that, Your Honor, he came back into the house. He got into an altercation with the neighbors because they saw him shooting at their dog. He came back into the house and got a real gun and pointed it at the neighbors.
Oh, so this time he pointed a real gun.
Correct.
Bottom line is, as the police were taking him away, he told you to go get the defendant, who was a bail bondsman.
No, he knows bail bondsman.
Or he knows bail bondsman. So what did you do? Where did you go to get him?
He lived right around the corner from our house.
So according to you, you went and you got him and you invited him over to your house.
Correct.
And he sat there all day drinking vodka and orange juice. And he got drunk and proceeded to break a plate glass door in your house. And you want him to pay for the door.
Yes,
That's what this case is about. Do you understand?
I heard it. I just don't.
All right. Now, Miss LeBron, I have a couple of questions for you. They take your husband away, you go around the corner, and you get Mr. Patberg. And what do you say to him?
I said that my husband was just arrested and that he wanted me to come get him because he knows bail bondsman.
And he said, okay, I'll come to your house?
Correct.
Now, did he come back to the house with you?
Yes.
What time of the day or evening was this?
It was early in the morning.
Now, when he got there, what did he say to you?
He called a bail bondsman.
And did he make arrangements?
Well, they had to wait until my husband was processed.
Now, where did he get this vodka from?
I don't remember exactly where he got it that day.
I'm talking about that day. That's the day that he...
He always drinks vodka.
No, I understand. I don't understand that he always drinks vodka. I'm talking about that day. That's the day when he broke the door. You say he sat in your house all day.
Mm-hmm.
Until what time?
Until after my husband was brought back to the house later that night.
So he was drinking all day?
Correct.
Whose vodka was he drinking?
His own. I don't drink vodka.
So he brought the bottle with him?
He would have had to have.
Where'd you get the vodka from?
I believe we went out later in the day and purchased it.
What do you mean you believe?
Well...
Shh! What do you mean you believe? You got drunk. That was clear. That's what she says. That's what you say.
Yes, that's correct.
And you were drinking all day?
No, I was not drinking all day.
A part of the day?
A part of the day.
Where did you get the vodka from, is my question.
From the liquor store.
Where was the liquor store?
Well, less than a mile away.
How did you get there?
Peggy gave me a ride.
Did you give him a ride to the liquor store?
I could have. I have before.
Were you drinking too?
Not vodka.
I don't care what you were drinking. Were you drinking too?
Beer.
So you don't remember whether you gave him a ride to the store? You could have.
I could have.
Let's say you did. Miss LeBron, you allowed him to get drunk in your house. What do you want from me? Should have said, take your vodka and go home. You're lucky he's not suing you for almost killing himself going through your plate glass door. This is a very easy lesson. If you allow someone to become inebriated in your house, and in this case, you don't even remember because you were probably so looped yourself you don't even remember getting in your car and taking him to the liquor store. But if you permit him to get so drunk in your house that he staggers through a plate glass door, you are responsible. Totally responsible. You're not supposed to furnish a place where somebody can get so intoxicated that they can hurt themselves, certainly not cause damage to your place. They cause damage to your place. You pay for it. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy.
He got drunk and fell through my sliding glass door and broke it.
I'm not denying that I broke the door. I broke the door.
Figured he would take some responsibility for his own actions.
I did try and take responsibility for the door.
He hasn't lived up to his responsibility at all.
I went to the store, purchased plywood, and at least put plywood in replacement of the glass.
It wasn't because I was inebriated. I don't drink and drive.
Secretary Crystal Gibson is suing the father of her children, network control operator Marvin Bryant, for cutting up her clothes and vandalizing her car in a fit of jealous rage.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom. Now, this is case number 370 on the calendar in the matter of Gibson versus Bryant. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Oh, I see we have a little show and tell here. Miss Gibson, according to your complaint, you and the defendant have 2 children together?
Yes, ma'am.
And on 2 separate occasions, the defendant, for no reason at all, went nuts, destroyed some of your property. In July, he destroyed your clothes and a bed, and then again in November, you say he damaged your car. Mr. Bryant says he did neither.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Judge. Yes.
You don't live together, is that right?
Correct.
How old are your children?
7 and 8.
When was the last time you lived together?
92, 93, up until about 2001.
From what I gather, after you stopped living together, you still had a civil relationship because he would watch the kids when you worked.
While I went to school.
Or went to school. Now, what happened on this day in July? You want to tell me about it?
Well, on July the 12th, me and him was supposed to be getting back together. The next day, he went out and I went out. So on July the 14th, about 5 that morning, he called me on my cell phone. And he asked me where was I at. And I told him...
Where was he when he called you on the cell phone?
He had just left the club. And I guess he had came over to my apartment, but I wasn't there. Well, by the time I got home, his car was out there. And when I got upstairs, I had saw where he had kicked my door in, but I thought by that time he had calmed down because on the phone he was telling me, you need to get here and whatever.
Was he in your apartment when you got home?
Yes, ma'am, he was.
Is that right, sir?
No, it's not, ma'am. I haven't been in her apartment. I was not in her apartment in July at all. The only time I've been in that apartment was when the kids started school, which was in late August, early September. And I would go over there and drop the kids off until she got out of school.
Go ahead.
He asked me where I had been, and he said he know I had been with the guy that I had been seeing. And so, you know, he was just talking, and he ripped my clothes off that I had on at that time or whatever. And he was just saying, you know, women, that's why a lot of women like you are in the grave for doing this. He said, I hurt him. He said that rather than killing me or doing something bad to me, that he would take it out on my clothes. So he went to the back and started tearing up my clothes. And
let me see what he did.
He took scissors and cut up my clothes.
What else did he do?
And I have pictures here and evidence where he ripped my bed up, the paws off my bed.
Okay. And he eventually left?
He was still tearing up my stuff. At the time, one of my friends was living with me, and she came home, and she calmed him down, and eventually he left.
You didn't report this to the police, did you?
No, ma'am. I didn't report it to the police because my phone, I don't have a phone.
Don't give me an excuse. You didn't, is the reason. You didn't.
Right, I didn't.
There came a time in November when you say you had another incident with Mr. Bryant. You want to tell me about the other incident?
Well, prior to that, before that, I put him on child support, and he's upset about that situation. Well, November the 6th, I go to school. It was a Wednesday, and that night I go to school from 6 to 9:50. Well, I called him when I got out of class and told him I was on my way to have the kids ready. Because
so he was babysitting for you?
Yes, ma'am.
So I assume you had patched up whatever differences that you had so that you were still now on speaking terms again after the July incident. Is that right?
Because he started paying me for this. He paid me like $200.
Oh, he did?
Where are the...
Shh. What do you mean he paid you $200?
He gave me $200, but...
To cover your clothes?
Well, no, he was supposed to keep on paying me.
Was that supposed to be for the clothes that he destroyed?
Right.
Okay.
So I called him when I got out of class and told him that, you know, I was out of class to have the kids ready. So when I got there, they weren't ready. So I went in and I asked him, you know, where are the kids? He said they're back there in their room. So he said he needed to talk to me. So I entered his bedroom and we started talking, and he asked me why was I putting him on child support. And I told him it's nothing to talk about, you know, because it's already taken care of.
Who was supporting you at that time?
He was giving me $100 every 2 weeks. My 2 kids attend tutoring.
$100 every 2 weeks doesn't make it. Were you working?
Yes, I work.
What kind of work were you doing?
I'm a secretary, one at Department of Education, Special Education.
So you were working and going to school?
Yes, ma'am.
You working full-time?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Go ahead.
Well, he was saying that, why am I putting him on child support or whatever, and started talking about some other issues about my personal life and whatever not. And then he started teasing me about I had a fight with this girl, and he said he beat me up. And I told him, you don't know what went on because you wasn't there. And so, you know, he was like, yeah, you got yourself whooped or whatever. And I made a statement that made him upset. I said, well, we'll see what you going to do when they start taking out for child support. And that's when he really went crazy on me and pushed me out of his house and jumped on me or whatever. Then when I got at the door, I called him out of his name, and it really upset him, so he came out the door and pushed me onto my car. And I got in the car, and I was so nervous and upset till I accidentally put the car in the wrong gear, and it hit his car. And he came out trying to put my kids in the car, but I was afraid that he was going to jump on me again, so I locked the doors. And at that time, as you see, I got a picture where he, my little rearview mirror.
Pulled the rearview mirror off.
He hit it.
Where were your children?
He had woke them up, and they were outside.
They were outside seeing all this?
Tell them where they were.
They saw the end part of it.
Tell them where they were.
Where were they, sir?
Right beside me when she tried to run me over with the car, and all of us had to run out the way.
So you did have an argument with her at that
Yes, we did have an argument.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's still sleeping with me.
If you know he's got somebody new, he's got a new child, and you allow yourself to be suckered in,
Right.
that's your fault.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Crystal Gibson says the father of her children, Marvin Bryant, cut up her clothes and vandalized her car. Marvin says Crystal is making up a story.
I want to know something, sir. I read your answer very carefully. You claim that you got an order of protection, a protective order against her 2 weeks ago. Tell me about that.
Well, we did get into an argument. It was not about child support. Child support has been pending since August, July, and why would I wait till November to say something about it? It was not about child support. The argument was about, my kids told me about a lot of activity that's going on in her house, and I told her.
Okay. Now, when you say you got an order of protection, was that after a trial? Did you have a hearing?
Yes, we did.
You did have a trial?
Yes, we went to court for the order of protection.
You have a copy of that
Yes,
order
I
of
do.
protection? I'd like to see it, please. All right. So that both of you were present before the circuit court judge, and the court excluded you from his place of business, the court excluded you from his residence. That order of protection is good for 1 year.
Yes, ma'am, he did.
You didn't tell me you did anything wrong.
I didn't do anything.
Well, then how come you think that the judge gave him an order of protection?
Because I was nervous when we went to court and didn't understand what she was saying. She asked me, did I read the petition? I said, yes, ma'am, I did. She asked me, did I agree? I said, yes, ma'am, I did. But I was nervous and didn't understand at that point in time.
I see. Well, then I can't hear your complaints about anything that happened in November, madam. And I don't understand what you're talking about in this stuff in July. I don't think you would have been here but for the fact that he got this protective order against you. That's what I think. Tell me about the damage that was done, sir, to her bed.
I don't know anything about the bed. I was not in her house to do any damage to her bed. She's been obsessed with me ever since I found a new girlfriend. I have a child by my new girlfriend, and she's been harassing us ever since we've been involved. She come to her house, try to bust her windows, try to kick her door down. I opened the door, she hit me with a cell phone maybe 15 to 20 times. I wouldn't do anything. We called the police to her house, but she was gone by that time, so they didn't do anything. I didn't pursue that. Then on the issue of the night about the order of protection, when she ran my car, she did not accidentally put the car in drive. Drive is 3 gears down, reverse is 1 gear down.
Right.
So she ran my car. I went out to look at my car. As I was walking off, she hit me with her car.
What kind of damage did you have done to your car?
She didn't do much damage to my car. My car has a iron, like metal bumper, so it didn't do much to my car. And if it did, I wouldn't be trying to sue her for it because we have kids together. I don't want to take anything from my kids.
How much child support are you paying now, sir?
Well, they haven't set the court hasn't set an establishment yet. As she was stating, I was paying $200 a month. But when
Okay, what kind of work do you do?
I'm a computer network control operator.
How much do you earn?
30 grand a year.
You two folks have 2 children together,
Yes, ma'am.
and you've never been married. I assume that's because you weren't big on commitment, but having 2 children is a commitment. And then you move right along, Mr. Bryant, and have a new girlfriend and a new child.
Exactly.
That he's not sure about, but he go out and get an attorney because...
No. What I'm saying to you is it's time to start thinking like a grown-up.
Exactly.
If you have children, usually people get married and they
Right.
decide to have a family, and then they have one child and they see how they can manage that, and then they have another child if they want to. You don't test out the waters by having a baby. What you usually do is you try to see if your relationship works,
Exactly.
so that you don't send kids all over the place. You know, they spend some time with you, some time with their mother. Kids have seen a lot of violence based upon what you both tell me, which is not a good thing for children. In any event, Ms. Gibson, you're not entitled to any money. Period. I don't believe that you put your car in drive by accident, and neither did the judge who heard the case involving the application for his protective order against you. Have you been bothering him and his new girlfriend?
In the past,
That's it. No, not right now. Right now you're here. In the past, of course in the past. Why? Why?
because he's still sleeping with me.
That's your fault.
True.
If you know he's got somebody new, he's got a new child, and you allow yourself to be suckered in,
Right.
that's your fault. He's a man. You're supposed to think more of yourself. You're supposed to say, I'm not going to let him use me. Right?
That's what I come to say, and that's why he's harassing me now.
He's not harassing you now. No. And don't do it after today either. You living with your new girlfriend?
No, I'm not.
So what do you do? Just have girlfriends, have babies, and live by yourself?
No, that's not it.
What do you, well, clearly.
Well, I'm not living with her right now because we're just, I mean, I lived with her for a while and that didn't work out. I don't want to make the same mistake with this one.
That's why you don't have a child until you make up your mind.
Well, exactly, I understand that.
Exactly, I understand.
Things happen. I mean, it's
Listen,
not like I sit out and plan.
You grow up,
to have a child.
everybody. I want you to be prepared to dig deeper in your pockets by the time your support case reaches the court.
I understand that.
Because under the federal guidelines, you're going to give her 33 1/3% of your salary. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
So I want you to start kissing goodbye $300 every 2 weeks. And in order for you to get used to that, I would suggest you start to do it now, so it doesn't come as a big shock to you.
Well,
Do you understand?
When I was giving her, when she all of a sudden said, when she filed a child support claim, she said, I don't want it, don't give me anything, because she's trying to make them think that I'm not doing anything when the kids
So
are at
you
my
do
house
it.
and
Listen,
I'm doing everything for them
Sir,
right now.
Mr. Bryant, do you have a lawyer?
Yes, I do.
If you have a lawyer, I'm certain that your lawyer is going to tell the court
Right.
that what you really do is you have a shared custody
Exactly.
situation. If, in fact, you have a shared custody situation where each of you have the children 50% of the time, there may
Right.
be no order of support.
That's what.
Maybe there's no order of support, but I would get myself in the thinking mode
Right.
of a third.
Because he go to school Monday and Tuesday, so.
Goodbye, be well, have a happy life, take your clothes.
Why is her excuse? You may step out.
She probably tore them up herself.
Why would I cut up $2,000 worth of clothes?
She's jealous of me and my girlfriend right now.
I don't care what he do. He's in my business now.
24-year-old nurse's assistant Morticia Davis is suing her former live-in boyfriend, car assembler David Brown, for a down payment on a home and for unpaid video rentals. David is countersuing for unpaid bills and harassment.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 330 on the calendar in the matter of Davis versus Brown.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Ms. Davis, according to the complaint that I've read, you and the defendant lived together for a period of time. It is your claim that when you moved in together, you put down a substantial amount of money, almost, I think, $4,000. You call it a down payment on the house. You say that Mr. Brown subsequently kicked you out of the house and you want that money back. You also said that he's used a video card where you rent videos from a store without your permission. It belonged to you. He didn't return the videos, and you now have a very extensive bill from that store. Mr. Brown says you never gave him a dime, and he's got a counterclaim for bills that he claims you owe him, and he says you've been bothering him, that he doesn't like, so he wants you to pay for his trouble. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Davis, when did you move in with the defendant?
Your Honor, I would like to tell you how my ex-boyfriend did me wrong. He moved in with me in November of 2000.
So listen to my question. When did you move in together in a place where you claim you put money down?
In June of
That's wrong.
2001.
Shh. Now listen, I'm going to get to you. So don't interrupt her. We do things in a very orderly way here. It's the only way that I can function. Otherwise, I become frustrated, and Bird doesn't like it when I get frustrated. When did you move in together? June of 2001? Very good. And was this a house or an apartment?
It was a mobile home.
Was it a rental?
No, ma'am.
He bought it?
Process of buying, yes, ma'am.
And you say you gave him how much money?
It was $4,366.
And where did you get that money from?
I traded my mobile home in on the one that he purchased.
Okay, do you have any evidence of that transaction? All right, sir. I seem to have some evidence would tend to indicate, Mr. Brown, that she did not, in fact, give you any money towards the purpose of your mobile home.
Exactly, she did not.
Listen to me carefully, sir. I have evidence that she did not give you any money towards the purchase of your mobile home. But I have evidence here that she traded in her mobile home
no, ma'am.
as a partial down payment for a mobile home that went into your name.
No, not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all. What has transpired was a mobile home that was sold from her cousin to me for $500, which we used as a trade-in.
Yeah, but they gave you credit for $4,366 as a down payment credit.
That was the value of the mobile home. I'm buying something for $500 and trading in for another amount. That's just like a good business transaction.
Your Honor,
Does it make sense? It's a profitable business transaction. If you can buy a car for $200 and sell it for $2,000, that's a smart buy. So that's exactly what I did. I took a smart buy and used it to advance in a better home for me and my children.
Something doesn't sound right, sir.
It doesn't sound
Does it sound right to you? He buys it for $500 from her cousin and then uses it, and they give him a down payment credit of $4,366.
I also gave in a $2,500 cash deposit as well.
On or about June 26, 2001, traded in her 1964 Windsor mobile home as a down payment on a 1998 Horton manufactured home.
Right.
This 1998 Horton manufactured was being purchased by David R. Brown. We gave Miss $4,366 on a down payment credit on the 1998 Horton.
Yes. Now, where's her name is that on any of that transaction?
Show that to him.
Your Honor, the reason why my name is not on there because the title was never changed over into my name, but I have a receipt where I purchased the mobile home before I met him.
That's for a different mobile home she's speaking of. And we never used that mobile home as a trade-in. This right here is sufficient. This right here is sufficient. And her name is not on there in that transaction because she has no involvement in the transaction.
I never said my name was on the mobile home, Your Honor.
She gave me these monies in her mobile home, and her name is not on anything. Does that make any sense?
That is my cousin.
Her cousin.
Ah. So they gave Miss $4,366 for the down payment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Forget it. I don't look into that. Your name was not on the title to that mobile home?
No, ma'am.
All right,
at
then
the time,
forget it.
I did not have a job, but I have a receipt where I bought the mobile home from Miss.
Show me.
Do you have the receipt?
You mean
up
this?
there?
$500?
Yes, and I also have this right here.
You have this? Is this what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
That's nothing. That's nothing. That's something that you buy in a grocery store.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She won't leave me alone. We broke up, let it go. Guess she's steady looking for a payout for something she knows she's not owed to.
Mr. Brown, I believe you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Morticia Davis says ex-boyfriend David Brown owes her for the down payment on a mobile home and unpaid video rentals. David says her lawsuit is bogus.
Now, what about this video card?
When I got evicted out the mobile home, he used my Blockbuster
When did he evict
card.
you from the mobile home?
May. She moved out of the home before the eviction took place. So therefore.
What do you mean there was an eviction? Had you gone to court to evict her?
I went to court to evict her.
Why is that?
Because there was South Carolina state law. Once someone established residence in your home, in order for them to move out against their will, you have to evict them out.
All right, so the relationship wasn't going well, I
It
see.
was downhill from...
Do you have children together?
No, we do not, thank God.
Perfect. Okay, so what about this video card?
Well, when he got his new girlfriend evicted me, I got some bills in the mail, which he used my card illegally at 3 different Blockbusters, never took the videos back.
Show me. You were evicted in May, is that right? Yeah. Well, this is March of 2002.
Thank you.
This is March of 2002.
That's when he used
This
the
is
card,
March
Your
of
Honor.
2002.
And we both
This
reside.
is This is March of 2002, and this is March of 2002. So
After I got evicted, that's when I got the bills in the mail, which he had used them.
No.
Well, listen to me. Miss Davis,
Yes.
how do what? You lived together in March of 2002. You were
He
sharing
was not
a home.
there in March,
Quiet.
Your Honor. He was not there. He lived with his new girlfriend until I got evicted.
Lies.
He was
Listen
not
to
there.
me.
Lies.
You kind of,
She's lying, Your Honor.
I don't want to say it again. It doesn't appear as if you're doing badly in this lawsuit so far. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
But what can happen is you can lose if you open your mouth again. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any of these movies home, sir?
No, I do not.
It's not going to admit
Do you know where they are?
The last was left in the home that she was residing in. Now, what she did with him after that, I don't know.
Your Honor, that's not true.
I haven't been back to the house. At the time, I was out the house from late part of March all the way up until April, May.
Now he,
back in
now
May.
he's
Don't
telling-
interrupt him.
Back into May.
All right, you have no case, Miss Davis. That's you. You want to get to your counterclaim? Mr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You said she owes you bills.
Yes, ma'am.
What does she owe you bills for?
For rent, electric bill.
She doesn't owe you for rent. You weren't anticipating any rent from her.
I loaned her a few $100s for a couple of car note payments.
Yeah, go ahead. What else?
And
Chalk it up to experience. What else?
harassment.
Well, I have a feeling that that's true, that she's been harassing you.
And she just don't.
I have a feeling that that's probably true. So you want to tell me about the harassment?
I mean, she caused problems with me at work. She caused problems with me and my children. I'm a single parent of 2 children. Today is my son's birthday. I should be home with him instead of her in this courtroom. But Ms. Davis, again, want to file a lawsuit that she have no bearing to hold on. So therefore, it's just constantly, she won't leave me alone. We broke up, let it go. But yes, she's steady looking for a payout for something she knows she's not owed to.
I believe you. I believe that she has made it her mission at this portion in her life to make your life miserable. That's what I believe. Put your hand down.
Judge,
Why can't you just say it didn't work out, period, end of discussion? While you were living together for that year, where were you working?
Interim health care.
Okay.
And I took care of 4 kids.
What did you do with your money?
I paid bills.
What bills?
I have light bills, water bills, phone bills.
He paid the rent.
Yes, that's all he paid was the rent and the land payment.
What about the food?
I got that.
No,
Really?
I was on food stamps, Your Honor.
was not. She was not. And as far as the electric bills and bills, those bills are in my name. And then she couldn't pay those bills. That's why I'm here now about the electric bill and the bills that she has now.
Your Honor, I have these bills. Yes, they was in his
Show
name,
me.
but I paid them.
Show me.
After the fact that I left the house and I had these utilities cut off because she refused to pay them.
You mean
was running them up in my
after
name.
you left in March?
After I left in March. She was running them up in my name. Therefore, I had these bills. These
Your Honor, that's
utilities
not true.
disconnected.
Yeah, this is April. I want to see anything before that, madam, before you were in the house by yourself. You have proof that you paid any bills?
I paid all my bills, Your Honor.
Listen to what I'm
No,
saying
Your
to
Honor,
you.
that is all I have.
Right. That I can understand.
And
He
Mr.
moved
Brown
out-
had those bills in his name because he moved up there before I did. That's why they was in
Pay
his name.
careful attention to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you have a checking account?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So all you have to do was to bring to court today, since you knew that he was counterclaiming for bills.
Your Honor, I didn't
proof,
know.
Proof? What do you mean you didn't know?
I didn't know he was countersuing me.
Really? When did you file your counterclaim, sir?
Monday.
When did you serve her?
He haven't.
Oh, then it's dismissed. Your counterclaim's dismissed. But not only is your counterclaim dismissed, Mr. Brown, but so is your lawsuit. And I'm going to make this suggestion to you. Sometimes things don't work out. How old are you?
I'm 24.
You have children?
I have 2. I'm a single parent.
Put a period, this is over, and devote all of your energies to working and your 2 children. Leave him alone. He doesn't owe you any money. Goodbye.
I don't harass him, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He jumped on me twice, and the mobile home was mine, which I didn't have the title with me.
Many a times she had me arrested for domestic criminal violence, something that I didn't do.
He's not going to do anything without being in the courtroom because he thinks he can get away with a lot of stuff.
She came in here, Judge Judy seen between the lies and what she was trying to tell, didn't get nothing. Justice was served for the first time.
And now the next case.
All parties on Cochran versus Matthews. Step forward, please.
Retired computer specialist Loretta Cochran is suing her former friend, computer technician Chris Matthews, for an unpaid loan for child support. Chris says he worked off the debt.
Miss Cochran, you claim a loan to the defendant in the amount of $5,000. You claim that you have given him certain credits. He owes you slightly less than $5,000 on the loan. Mr. Matthews says that you had an agreement, and the agreement was that it was a barter arrangement, that you gave him $5,000, and he agreed to do some work for you and half of the civilized world in exchange for the money that he needed to pay back child support. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know him?
I know him from the local flea market at home. He ran a computer shop.
And you?
I ran a booth there selling Beanie Babies, etc.
Tell me about this loan, Miss Cochran.
Well, Chris needed to pay us back child support.
How did you find that out?
Well, he was talking about it at his shop where other people were. He was working on my personal computer, and he was talking about how he needed to raise the money to get to pay his child support. And I agreed to loan him the money to keep him out of jail.
When you say you agreed to loan him the money, either he asked you for the money or you volunteered.
No, he asked for the money.
What did he say? That's what I want to know.
Oh, gee. He wanted some help on paying the back child support.
What prompted you to give him such a large sum of money?
Well, he really promised to pay it back within...
Tell me what he said, Ms.
He
Cochran.
said that he was getting a $4,000 income tax refund and that he would be able to pay me back within 90 days. So I thought for a short time, yes, I can do this.
He was probably concerned that he was going to go to jail unless he paid.
Yes.
Did he say that to you?
Oh, yes.
Well, I want you to tell me what he said, Ms. Cochran.
Well, he said he was going to have to go to jail if he didn't raise the money by February the 6th. He had to go to court. And so we went to the bank on January the 27th, I think, and got the money and gave him a cashier's check so he could pay the bill.
So he said that he would pay you back when he got his income tax refund, which would have been $4,000, and then make up the rest.
Yes.
Did he pay you anything?
He paid me nothing.
When did you first ask him for the money?
After he went to court and, you know, had some time had passed by, and I said, let's talk about this. And he would tell me to come over to the flea market, come over to the shop. He would have some money. I'd go over. He wouldn't have any money. Weeks and months went by. He moved his business and went into business with some other guys. And he paid everybody else, but he won't pay me.
All right, Mr. Matthews, now I'll hear you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I don't dispute the fact that I borrowed the money from her. We had made an agreement that I would pay the money back, and then business had dropped, and I came back to her and I said, I don't have the money. I don't know when I'll have it. I'll pay you. She made the agreement that I could work it off on working on her computers, friends' computers.
Tell me about that,
And
Mr.
I guess
Matthews.
they would reimburse her that way.
Tell me about that, sir. Tell me about this new agreement. When was it? Where were you when you made this
It was about
new...
March, and it was at her home.
What were you doing at her home?
Working on her computer.
Okay. Go ahead.
And she had said, hey, you know, you could do this kind of work. We can knock it off the bill, you know, until you can get straight and whatnot.
Yeah, for a couple of hundred.
Shh. Go ahead.
And I kept doing this work and...
Doing what work?
On the computers.
Well, how many computers
I
did you
worked
work
on her computer twice at the shop, twice at her home. I worked on her lawn keeper's computer. I just worked on another friend of hers' computer. I repeatedly worked on everything.
No, not repeatedly. That's... You worked on her computer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she's giving you certain credit for working on her computer because she says in her complaint, I even credited him $164 because he did some work on my computer.
Your Honor, I worked on her computer at least 4 times.
So what? She kept you out of jail. How much do you think you'd be charged in interest on a $5,000 loan?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know? You're not very good in math, just on computers?
Just, I don't know what the interest rate you're speaking of. You
Any
take
interest
9%,
rate, sir.
15%, 20%?
Let's try 10%.
Okay. 10% would be right at $500.
So forget about her computer that you worked on. How many friends' computers did you work on under this arrangement that you claim you had with her?
2.
And who were those people?
One was her lawn keeper and one was a personal friend of hers.
And you accepted no money from these people?
From one of them I did.
2 of them.
How much? Just a second. Which one did you accept money from?
The last one that I worked on it 8 hours and I only charged her for 4 hours of labor.
So what? So forget about that one. You're hustling me, sir. Now, was that the lawn keeper or was that a friend?
That was the friend.
When did you work on the lawn keeper's computer?
Sometime in March.
And how many hours did you spend on that?
On the lawn keeper, 6 hours.
And tell me about the conversation that you had with the plaintiff with regard to her benefiting from your working on her lawn keeper's computer.
She said that she would then take it out and trade with her lawn keeper as far as taking care of her lawn.
Does that sound familiar to you?
No, I paid for the computer. I paid cash.
What do you mean you paid cash for the computer?
When he fixed this computer for a friend of mine.
We're talking about the lawn
No,
keeper.
ma'am.
Well, the lawn keeper is a friend.
What difference does it make? It's not $5,000 we're talking about here, Mr. Matthews. You have an obligation. Your obligation is to pay child support. How many children do you have that's covered by this child support order?
1.
And what's your child support order?
It's $560 a month.
So in order for you to have amassed $5,000 worth of arrears, you didn't pay for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
So you shun that responsibility. This lady, a total stranger to you, says, I will loan you the money because you asked her for it. That's what you just told me. You just told me that you borrowed the money from her. Borrowed. She's not your wife, is she?
No, ma'am.
She's not your sister?
No, ma'am.
She's not your cousin?
No, ma'am.
She's not your aunt?
No, ma'am.
She's not your best friend?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So she's a stranger to you. Stranger. She took care of your responsibility for
Yes,
your child to pay child support. Then you tell her, I don't have any money. Sorry, I thought I'd have money. I don't have money. That's what you told the mother of your child, too. I'm sorry. What do you want me to shoot me? I don't have money. Collect cans.
Your Honor, everything
Now listen to me. Collect cans. Go out, collect cans, 5 cents a piece, collect bottles, put them in, then you have money. Listen to me, sir. She's not supposed to pay your child support. You're supposed to pay your child support.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So she took the money out of the bank, which cost her interest. According to my calculations, you owe her at least $5,000 because that's how much she lost in interest. You want to say anything else to me, Mr. Matthews? And are you sure you want to say something else to me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to hear you, sir.
We made this agreement on several occasions that I would do this work for her.
But you didn't.
I've calculated work that I have done for her on 4 different occasions, and I only got $160 worth of credit off of the bill.
So what? She kept you out of jail. How long were you going to go to jail for, Mr. Matthews?
12 months.
You figure that maybe your life is worth $100 a month? Not to some people, maybe, but to you. Is it worth $100 a month?
Yes, ma'am.
$1,200? She kept you out of jail for 12 months. $1,200. Did you do more than $1,200 worth of work on her computer?
Between friends and...
Her computer.
No, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
All the charm and schmoozing does not put the money in my bank account.
I think that I didn't get credit where credit was due for work that I had done.
He would never call me and never talk to me, never return my calls.
I told her that I could make some kind of payment arrangements or whatever had to be done.
I'd get one story after another.
Lack of communication.
I'd had enough.
The next thing I know, I had a court document.
Don't take it. Dish it out.
And now the next case.
Parties on Vanetta versus Gervitz. Step forward, please.
Bar manager Linda Van Natta is suing her former friend, cashier Marion Gervitz, for vet bills. Marion is countersuing, also for vet bills.
Miss Vanetta, I'm going to very succinctly give you a short scenario of the complaint that I read, yours. According to you, you sold the defendant 2 Persian cats. Mm-hmm. Then you got information somehow that they were being neglected. At the time, according to you, the defendant had approximately 17 cats. You went over there, you picked up the 2 cats. You took them back to your house. You did that with her permission.
Yes.
And then she wanted them back, and you said you can't have them back. Ultimately, you were forced to give the cats back to her. and you want her to pay the vet bills that you incurred taking care of the cats.
Yes.
So that's what your lawsuit is about?
Yes.
You have a cross complaint.
Yes, ma'am.
You say that when the cats were returned to you, they were returned sick, and you had to take them to the vet.
Yes, ma'am.
What was wrong with them when they were returned to you?
My cats were returned to me. They had ringworm, which is like a fungus.
I know what ringworm is.
Okay. None of my cats have ever had ringworm. We have 14
How many cats do you have?
We have 14.
Are you telling me you had 14 cats and none of your cats have ever had ringworm?
No, ma'am.
You have the 2 Persians back now?
I have the 2 Persians back, and they were underweight when I got them back.
Oh, I'd like
She
to
had
see,
cold.
I'd like to see the vet report.
Yes, ma'am.
Indicating.
I also have a letter where Linda sent to my husband accusing me of having extramarital affairs. And I just don't think it has anything to do with the case. She's slandering me.
I just would like to see, please, the vet bills and the report from the vet when you got the cats back.
Okay, this is a report that the vet faxed to the Humane Society.
When were the cats returned to her?
November.
November what?
Around
important.
the 15th, I believe.
November 15.
I believe so.
Well, according to the veterinarian, both cats had good body weight. Both cats had ringworm lesion. One cat had an ear infection, one cat had a right eye infection. And this indicates that both cats had several problems that required medical attention. Can you tell me how this is possible?
These cats were very sick when I took them back. I've been treating them from the vet from August until the end of October, that I've taken the cats to the vets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Did you tell her when you went to pick up the cats that it was your intention to keep them?
No, I told her I would keep the cats until she would get her act together. The house was filthy. She had cat feces all over the house.
Linda, your house has not been any better.
She had to shovel cat feces from the downstairs.
You had rest in your
their
bathtub,
place was
honey.
supposed to be getting condemned.
Listen to me. Where do you think you are?
I'm sorry.
Where do you think you are?
I'm
Then
sorry.
don't say but.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Go ahead.
And with the 17 cats in the house, I knew that they were sick when I took them, and I did ask her about the condition of the cats, especially when I seen the bloody stool. She said that was not a problem, that she would cover the vet bills. So, and
Did you say that to her?
I told her if she took the cat to the vet, that I would pay the bill, but she refused to return the cats to me.
You did tell her you would cover the vet bill.
I would cover the vet bill, but
Good, let me see.
She refused to allow me to have my cats back or see them. She was going to euthanize them because of diarrhea.
Because of what?
Because of diarrhea. She was going to have the cats euthanized.
that is a parasite that the cats had. They eat out the inner lining of the intestine. I was never going to have them euthanized.
That's what you told me, Linda.
That's why I was having them treated, so that they would cure the giardia. The vet told me
They had giardia.
I have got a letter.
Why do you need 14 or 16 cats?
I do animal rescue.
Yeah.
And I have 7 papered cats, and I have 7 mutts, because I feel that anyone who sells cats should have as many mutt cats that need homes as they do purebred cats.
They were sick before they went.
No, ma'am, they were not sick.
Sure they were.
No, they were not sick, ma'am.
Sure they were. You want to know why I know they were sick? Because you said if you take them to the vet because they had blood in their stool, I will pay the bill. If you
Casper had diarrhea because of all the stress.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break. Look, you spent a lot of money, Miss Van Atta, and I believe you spent a lot of money at the vet after a period of time that she told you, I want my cats back. That's your responsibility. The only question that I have in my mind is whether or not you are responsible for any of the vet bills that she had after she got her cats back. Because she says the cats came back to her sick. Now, the cats were not in your possession because you gave them to a third person. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, why did you do...
Excuse me. She sold them.
I'm not speaking to you. Who did you give them to?
I gave them to a lady. I ran an ad to get rid of some of my cats.
How long were the cats with her?
3 to 4 weeks before
Okay.
she actually got him back.
All right, well, unfortunately, you are responsible for her vet bills.
That I am responsible?
Yeah, you are. You are. I know you're trying to do a good deed. $405. Judgment on the counterclaim for the defendant. That's all.
Parties are
Thank you.
excused. You may step out.
This lady has got a mental problem. She stuck a cat in a freezer for 6 months because she couldn't stand to get rid of it.
We kept it in the freezer for a few months until the ground thawed and we buried it.
She can't take care of her house. She can't take care of the cats. Somebody needs to step in and do something about this.
I have 14 cats and 12 birds, and they are all healthy and receive vet care when necessary.
If one of them has got Giardia, so do the rest of them, the birds, the people, the cats are running the neighborhood. It's a big health issue.
She's just got to be in everybody's business, and she always thinks she's right, and she can say whatever she wants about me. God knows the truth, and so do I.
Real estate broker Noreen Falk is suing account executive Russell Craig for the cost to fix her vehicle. Noreen says Russell's daughter, 12-year-old Kaylee, damaged her car.
Order. All rise. That's case number 450 on the calendar in the matter of Falk versus Craig. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Ms. Falk, it is your claim that the defendant's daughter somehow got behind the wheel of a car that belonged to you while it was in a garage, drove it through the garage door, damaging the car. You want the defendant to be responsible for repairing the car, which is about $600. The defendant says that his daughter is not responsible and did not drive the car and was not responsible for the damage. You weren't there.
No, ma'am.
Your daughter was there.
That's correct.
So why don't you step up? Tell me your first name.
Kaylee.
All right, Miss Falk, where was your car?
My car was parked in my sister's private garage in Houston, Texas.
What was it doing there?
It was awaiting transport. My sister and niece moved down to El Paso, Texas, and we left the car there for my movers to pick it up at a later date. They were, at that time, taking my sister's car back.
It's actually within a garage?
Yes, ma'am. And I have pictures of that.
Can I see it?
Yes. That's the new garage he replaced.
The new door?
Yes, ma'am.
Who replaced the door?
Mr. Craig.
Good for you. How much did that cost you?
$420.
All right, Kaylee. You want to tell me how you got possession of this car?
My friend and I, Tammy, were going to her house.
Going to whose house?
Tammy's. And we saw these two guys, and they were emptying out the garage. And we went to go see, and they told us about the car being in there and how it had the keys in the ignition, and they didn't know what to do with the car. And
who were the two guys?
One said that he was his gardener, and the other said that he didn't say who he was.
Go ahead.
And they told us about everything, and so Tammy wanted to go see the car, and so we went in there, and as we were leaving, the guys gave us 2 scooters because they said that they were going to just take the stuff. They said something like, give it away or something like that. And then we left, and then Tammy wanted to go back, and so we went back, and she said that she wanted to go inside the car, and so we went inside the car, and she was in the driver's seat, and I was just in the passenger seat, and she turned on the car. And
how'd she get into the garage?
There's a door.
So you went in a door?
Mm-hmm.
So she turned on the car. Go ahead.
And she put it in reverse, and it jumped back and hit the garage.
Yeah.
That's all.
How old are you?
12.
So let's go back a little bit. You saw 2 men who were stealing property from this garage, is that right?
Yes.
And the 2 men who were stealing property from the garage told you that they were giving you 2 scooters, which you knew were stolen, is that right?
No.
You had to know they were stolen because you knew the 2 men were stealing property.
They said that Ms. Tipton had called them.
Yeah. So that you knew when you took the 2 scooters. Now, where did you bring the scooters, by the way? Did you bring them to your house?
I brought one to my house, and Tammy took one.
You live there with your father?
My mom.
What did you tell your mother about where you got the scooter?
That this guy was packing away the stuff, and he gave it to us. And she said, okay.
When you went back there, according to you, with your friend Tammy, you knew you had no permission to go into the garage, isn't that right? You have to answer me. Don't shake your head in court.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were committing a crime when you went in there, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you got into the car, you knew you had no permission to be in that car, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And according to you, it was Tammy who drove the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you went into the garage the first time with the men, you had the key to the car.
No, ma'am.
Did you ever have the key to the car?
Yes, ma'am. After Tammy had put it on my keychain.
When did Tammy put it on your keychain?
The second time that we were there.
Before or after she crashed the car? Before or after she crashed the car?
After.
Tell me about after. She crashed the car, and did you get frightened?
Yes.
What did you do?
I told her, Tammy, we better leave. We had no business to be here.
And you got out of the car?
Yes.
Tell me about how the key got on your key ring.
She put it on there.
You know what happens when you fib? Your nose gets longer. Doesn't make sense. Now, a lot of things make sense. Could possibly happen. You could have gone in there and it would have been just as you told me. That Tammy got behind the wheel of the car, Tammy drove the car, all of a sudden it crashes into the door, damages the door, but then you jump out of the car and you leave fast. You don't wait for Tammy to take the key out of the ignition, put it on your key ring. That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you, sir? No, of course not. Okay. Have you called Tammy, sir?
Yes, I have.
So, you sue Tammy. That's your job. If you feel as if your daughter is only partially responsible, you sue Tammy.
Your Honor, I feel like she's more responsible.
Well,
My defense is that there was no damage to the vehicle.
I've got pictures.
I requested pictures and never got any pictures.
You mean you crash a car into a garage door with sufficient force for you to replace the garage door, and you don't think there's any damage to the car?
I saw the car.
Your Honor, my niece is back in Houston again, and these two are in the same class at school, and she has admitted all this to my niece after I filed this lawsuit.
Really?
Yes.
Where's your niece?
Right here, Madeline.
You're Madeline?
Yes, ma'am.
You go to school together?
Yes.
Well, tell me about the conversation you had with this young lady.
Well, we usually talk at lunch because you're not allowed to talk in class. So she said they pulled off the top of the car, but they said there was no damage. But
they said there was no damage.
Kaylee said there was no damage to the car. So,
what else did she say?
She said they were in there they were in there twice over a period of 2 days.
Doing what?
Listening to the radio.
Would you show the defendant's father pictures of the car? Can I have your estimates, please?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get the top off the car, Kaylee?
Tammy read the instructions.
So it was all Tammy. What were you doing when she was reading the instructions?
I was taking it off.
You were taking it off?
Yes.
Listen, sir, consider yourself very lucky. It's your daughter's fault. If you feel as if Tammy is partially responsible, I suggest that you sue Tammy and her mother. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $650. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
There's consequences when you do something wrong.
She was highly upset.
The father, I mean, that was a ridiculous story. How could he believe it?
She told me that she didn't do it, and finally the next day she told me that, yeah, we did it.
She made a mistake. She's sorry. It's over with. I don't think I should have been in the garage.
Take it to Judge Judy.
Tammy Joseph is suing car seller Jonathan Holmes for the return of a down payment, vandalism, toll fees, and lost wages.
All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3124, Joseph versus Horn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Joseph, you purchased a used car from the defendant. You started to have some car trouble with it within the first week or so. You want your money back. And you bought this car from him in November.
November 21st.
Mr. Holmes wants the balance that you owe him on the car.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
What year car is it?
2004.
So it's a 10-year-old car.
20-year-old car.
A 20-year-old car.
Did you see an ad for it?
No. He was an acquaintance, and I had wrecked my car, and he told me that he had a car available for me to purchase.
How was he an acquaintance of yours?
Just from my place of employment. He was a customer of my place of employment.
You had this 20-year-old BMW.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
When did you buy it?
About 5 years ago.
From whom?
A gentleman in town.
Did you know the gentleman that you
No,
bought
ma'am.
it from? How much did you pay for the car?
I paid $5,500 at the time.
And you sold her the car for $3,000.
That's correct.
And you gave him a $1,000 deposit.
Correct.
And agreed to pay the rest in installments.
Correct.
There was a purchase and sale.
Yes. I also paid the $1,000 plus I paid another $500 because that was the agreement. $500 until paid off.
$500 a what? A month.
Yes, correct. I paid him $1,000, and then 5 days later, I paid him that $500, and then the agreement was the $500 a month.
So far you paid $1,500 for the car. And when did you start to have trouble with it?
9 days after I bought it.
So you drove it for 9 days?
Yes.
And what happened on the 9th day?
I had driven it around town, and then I...
By the way, is there a bill of sale for this car?
We never made one.
Okay. Did you get the title?
No.
Did
because
you...
I wasn't supposed to receive the title until the car was paid off.
Did you have insurance on the car?
No.
Did you have insurance on the car?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
At the time she drove it, you had
No,
insurance?
at the time I sold it to her, but I took the insurance off. And she never gave me another $500. She only gave me $1,000, and then she gave me $200 towards that $500. So it's probably $1,200 total.
So at the time you were driving the car, you had no insurance?
Correct, but I wasn't driving it around.
I don't care if you were driving it to get your mail.
Right.
You were driving the car. You already told me that you drove the car in your complaint.
Right, I did drive
Around.
the car. I did drive it to the DMV to see if I could get it registered, what the costs were going to be to have it registered. But I never got it registered because I never got a smog. I couldn't get a smog because the damages that were on the vehicle.
Did you ever take the car to be smogged?
No. There was too much damages. There was so much that I had to do.
So the answer is you didn't take it to be smogged? No,
I did not.
When you purchased the car from the defendant, did it have an up-to-date registration?
No.
Is that right?
That's correct, ma'am.
How long was it since it had been registered?
I want to say 2-3 years.
Well, then you didn't have insurance on it if it wasn't registered.
No, well, I still had insurance.
Just be very careful. Just be very careful what you say to me. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If it wasn't registered for 3 years, it didn't have insurance.
Right.
Am I correct that he told me it had insurance, but that he took it off?
Yes, he said he did, but he took the insurance off. He sold it to her.
Okay, so that was not true. What do you have to think about that?
No, I'm just trying to figure out if my wife usually takes care of the insurance stuff, so I'm not sure if it was on there. I know we've had some vehicles on there that we weren't driving before previous.
Do you know what you just said? You want me to read back what you just said?
I know what I said.
Sounds like a lot of gibberish. What you just said to me, it sounds like a lot of gibberish.
Well, I do off-road racing, so some of them I might not be registered, but I have insurance on just in case something happens.
Off-road racing? You went off-road racing in this 20-year-old BMW?
No, not in that one. I'm just saying previous vehicles I have, so.
I don't care about previous vehicles.
Gotcha.
We're not here about previous vehicles. We're here about this car.
Yes, ma'am.
So now both of you have this car with no insurance, and it hadn't been registered in 3 years, and you don't have a bill of sale.
That's correct.
And you've had the car in your possession from November 26th to December, December to January, January to almost 3 months.
I've been trying to give it back.
No, you haven't tried to give it back. You want to sell it back to him. There's a difference. Giving is giving. Selling it back and wanting your money back are two different things, right?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, we're going to get all the warts out, because when we get all the warts out, it's going to come down to a very simple question. Right now, both of you were driving around in 2023 in an unregistered, uninsured vehicle, right?
Yes.
Right?
I'm no longer driving it. I have not been driving it.
You have not been driving it?
No, I have not been driving it.
Where is the car currently?
At my house.
Has it always been in your house since you purchased it?
No.
Okay.
I had to move it because he flattened the tires in my driveway.
Just a second. So you moved it?
Yes.
You moved it where?
Around the corner to my friend's house.
So you moved it?
I did.
Unregistered?
Yes.
Unlicensed?
Yes.
And you want me to buy that, correct? We'll get into this business with him vandalizing the car. You did vandalize the car, sir, did you not, when she stopped making payments on it?
I wouldn't call it vandalized.
Just a second. You vandalized the car. You would agree, Mr. Holmes, you know, you're a smart man. that if you purchased it and there were 176,000 miles on the car,
Yes, ma'am.
and if when you sold it to her there were 126,000 miles on the car, that would have been someone on your team turned back the mileage.
Tammy Joseph claims car seller Jonathan Holmes sold her a damaged vehicle and refuses to return the deposit. Jonathan is countersuing Tammy for the remaining car payments.
Now, did you touch the car?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
How did you touch the car?
Took the battery out of it.
That's vandalizing the car. And why do you think you can do that?
She hadn't paid me any payments. And
Did you tell her you could do it because it's your car?
I told her I still own the car due to the fact I still have the title, and she hasn't paid me any payments, so I want
So
to
you
make sure
could
she
do
wasn't
it.
gonna-
So you can do it to the car because it was your car.
Correct. That's what I stated, sir.
Quite a pair. I think they actually deserve each other. Okay, so you've had possession of the car for 3 months. According to you, you paid for half the car, right? When you purchased the car, it was 15 years old. Is that right?
About right, yes, ma'am.
You familiar with cars?
Enough to do the basic stuff on them, yes.
Miss Joseph said that the odometer on the car was turned back.
I did not know at the time. Me and her discussed that when she found that out, and she agreed with me that she knows. I didn't know that. I was not aware of that. I didn't do a Carfax.
I'm not following you. Are you following him? I'm
hardly.
When she had found that out, she had notified me of it. I told her I was unaware. I did not know it. She had to grab a Carfax to find it out, and I didn't grab a Carfax when I had purchased the vehicle originally.
Carfax would tell you that.
Yes, ma'am.
You have any proof?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Joseph, pay attention to my question. You have any proof that the defendant turned back the odometer on the car?
Other than the Carfax report, no. I mean,
Well, do you have the Carfax report from the time he purchased the car?
Yes.
And how many miles was on the car when he purchased it? Not when you purchased it, when he purchased it. He didn't buy it new.
All right, can I look, because I don't remember. I know it said 176,000 when he purchased it. Right now it says 123,000.
Oh, can I see that?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Because you would agree, Mr. Holmes, you know, you're a smart man, that if you purchased it and there were 176,000 miles on the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And if when you sold it to her, there were 126,000 miles on the car, that would have been someone on your team turned back the mileage. That's common sense, sir. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a wizard.
Right. Yes, you're absolutely right.
You know, I married my first husband when I was 21, and I married my second husband when I was 16 on my marriage license. Somebody could do that math, right? In 2018, I see the mileage on the car was 111,000 miles, right?
Correct.
And when you bought it?
123,000.
Well, that would be right.
Okay, before that, if you look a little farther back, it's 176,000.
Well, that means that he didn't turn it back. He bought the car in 2018. So I asked you, what proof do you have that he turned the mileage back? He didn't get the Carfax. Duh. But when he got the car, it showed 111,000 miles when he purchased it.
I gave him the same Carfax report when I obtained it.
Look, in 2014, he didn't own the car. It had 176,000 miles on it. Then the next sale of this car was in July of 2018 when he purchased it. Because you've had it, you said, about 5 years?
Yes,
Well, it's a
ma'am.
little bit longer than that. But when you purchased the car, it had 111,037 miles on it. That's what it says. New owner reported. Everybody should get one of these things. That's really fascinating. And in 2010, it had 122,000 miles on it.
Right.
He didn't turn it back then. He didn't
I never
own
said
it.
he turned it back. I was just showing him that the Carfax odometer had been rolled back. That was another reason.
That's why you're supposed to get the Carfax before you buy the car, madam, not after.
You're right. I was never even aware of Carfax until my friend Christina had told me about it when we had to have it towed to my house.
That's certainly not my fault.
No, I'm sorry.
That's not his fault. That's not his fault.
The problem that I'm having is 9 days after I bought it, I had to have it towed because it broke down 40 miles out of town. When he assured me it'd be a good running car, I bought it for my daughter.
He's selling a 20-year-old car for nothing.
But I'm not even able to have it smogged. There's so much damage to the emissions. It would cost $6,000 to have it even brought up to smog.
I understand that. But that's what happens when you buy a used car, when you buy a 20-year-old car.
I trusted that he would
The
tell me.
answer is, unless you want a guarantee, which you get in writing, you buy a used car, you buy it as is. That's the answer.
But
what?
Sorry, Your Honor. I have older BMWs that I use for parts, and I told her for the first 90 days
What do you mean you have old BMWs that you use for parts?
I have bought previous BMWs that I've used for parts, just whole from a junkyard, and
where do you keep them?
I keep them at my cousin's. My cousin's property out there.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have very little sympathy for either one of you. You drove around a car and you've been driving it for 2.5 months, or for 2 months, certainly enough to get it around without insurance and without registering the car.
I moved it from one point to another point because he said he was going to take it from me.
Then you sue him for taking the car. But you don't drive it from one place to another to hide it from him and then not pay for it.
I would love to give it back to him.
But he offered to take it back.
But he's
According
not
to
going
this,
to give me my money back?
No, he said he would give you your money back, but he would take off for the time that you actually had possession of the car. Isn't that what he said to you?
Yes, Your
Just
Honor.
a second. Well, that's a pretty good deal.
On the 5th is when I told him I didn't want it.
I don't care what you told him, madam. You're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to anything. It's your car. If the defendant, who's slick, said, I'll take the car back and I'll give you back your money less the time that you had the car in your possession, that I didn't have it, which sounds like a fair deal. If he says you gave him $1,200, not $15, unless you have proof that you gave him $15. Do you have proof that you gave him $15?
Just in text messages between both of us.
Well, I'd like to see that in the text messages that he acknowledges you gave him $1,500.
He also said that he would pay me back $950.
You buy a 20-year-old car unless you have a guarantee for that car. You buy it as is. If it breaks down a half a block away from his house where you bought it, it's still your car. Do you understand?
I guess so, yes.
Now, Mr. Holmes said he told you that he had other BMWs because there's something going on. He acknowledges, he said to you, for 90 days, if it needs parts, I'll give it to you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you know what parts it needed? If he has video of you driving the car 2 days ago, what do you think I'm going to do?
You're probably going to rule in his favor.
Correct. Were you driving the car 2 days ago?
It's been sitting in my garage.
I'd like to see it. Is that the car?
Yes, it is.
Who's that getting into the car, Miss Joseph?
Tammy Joseph has accused car seller Jonathan Holmes of selling her a damaged vehicle and lying about the mileage. Jonathan is countersuing Tammy for the remaining car payments.
Did you know what parts it needed?
No.
Well, if you didn't know what parts it needed, that's the only guarantee he gave you. For the first 90 days you own the car, he will replace the parts if parts need replacing. He'll cannibalize it from old cars that he's got on a junkyard at his cousin's property.
Your Honor, may I say,
All I want to see is his acknowledgement of $1,500. Do you have it?
No.
Good.
You wouldn't make any kind of connection with her whatsoever.
I don't care. He doesn't have to make a connection with her. She bought an as-is used car.
He told her that he would give her back $1,000. Then he didn't show up. Then he said, I'd give you back, it's $1,200, okay? He just kept blowing her off and blowing her off. And said that he was going to meet with her, and then he never did. So he kept telling her that he was going to give her money back. He just didn't go through with it.
No. What she says is, I told him to refund my deposit, and I would give the car back. He said, even though he was the one who committed a crime by tampering with the odometer. That's what you say. Well, there's no proof that he tampered with the odometer. That was an owner 10 years ago who tampered with the odometer. Instead of being civil, he came by my house and he let the air out of the tires. Did you do that, sir?
Yes, I
Say
did.
yes. And stole the battery. And you put in a new battery.
I put in the battery for my old car, yes. So I could move it into my garage so it would be safe, yes. I did do that.
I thought you said you... I thought
never
you told
said
just a second. Am I correct that she said she moved the car around the corner To a friend's house, not into her garage.
Around the corner.
Just don't speak.
Yes, around the corner to my friend's house.
That was the second time I did that, yes. I did do that. The first time I pushed it into the garage.
What was the offer that you made to her, Mr. Holmes? What was the offer that you made to her with
Regarding once we found out about
car.
the vehicle?
Yes.
I told her ultimately that I would drop the car payment down to $2,000 total and give her an engine that I had, as well as the parts that she needed for the vehicle.
Let's go slowly. Would you read back what he just said to me? I told her that I would drop the car down to $2,000. $2,000. Which means if she gave him $1,200, which is what he acknowledges, right?
Right.
That means she would owe another $800 on the car. Is that correct, Mr. Holmes?
That's correct.
And you'd give her the parts that she needed.
That's correct. I have the text here.
I'd like to see
There's
it.
some explicit
Kevin?
language in there, but...
Kevin. Would you tell me what this $375 is? I'll give you the $375 back and you take the car back if you don't want it?
That was when I told her that we'll figure out how much it would be for her having the vehicle for a whole month. And so I told her rental cars are about $50. I said, I'll charge you $25 a day for how long you had it. And so that comes up to about $375 left of overall what you would have from what you paid me a deposit. And I can give you that if you give me the car back.
Okay. What are you willing to do for her today, sir?
Nothing.
You wanted to keep the car.
I want her to give me my money back for the vehicle. She's been driving it. I have videos showing her driving it just 2 days ago.
Were you driving the car 2 days ago? Okie dokie. Let me ask you this question. If you were driving the car 2 days ago?
Yes, ma'am.
If he has video of you driving the car 2 days ago, what do you think I'm going to do?
You're probably going to rule in his favor.
Correct. Were you driving the car 2 days ago?
It's been sitting in my garage.
I have videos
It's been sitting on my drink.
30 days before then.
You said this was 2 days ago.
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Is that the car?
Yes, it is.
Who's that getting into the car, Miss Joseph?
That's me, but that's not 2 days ago.
That's the Stater Brothers parking lot in town where we live.
Where are you parked? In what kind of spot?
Grocery pickup in Stater Brothers.
Yes.
That's Monday, February 12th.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I was not. Yes, I was at Stater Brothers, but that not on February 12th. My car has not moved in weeks.
Yeah. Miss Joseph, your complaint against the defendant...
My car won't even run, actually.
Your case against the defendant is dismissed. I don't believe you that you haven't driven the car. I believe that you've driven the car without it being registered and without it being insured and certainly without it being smogged.
Yes.
The defendant has a counterclaim, and the defendant's counterclaim is the balance on the car.
And lost wages.
Forget your lost wages.
I understand.
I should charge myself for lost wages from having to endure this case. She gave you $1,200 for the car,
That's correct, ma'am.
which means she owes you $1,800.
Yes, for $3,000.
Judgment on the counterclaim for $1,800. We're done here.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I didn't think it would turn out this way. I thought he would be a man of integrity.
I think she was fair in her decisions.
There's nothing I can do with the car. It won't pass smog. I can't put my 16-year-old daughter in it, and unsafe to drive.
The way I tried to make it right was drop it to $2,000, give her an engine and the parts that she needed for it still, and she still didn't want to do so.
He did small repairs on it to make it seem like it ran well.
I think I sold her a car that definitely was manageable, and I think I was fair in telling her for the first 3 months that, you know, she'd get parts for it if a part went out.
40 miles into driving it, it overheated, and it has been bad ever since.
I think she'll be happy that she has the title, and hopefully she finds somebody that can fix the vehicle for her.
I thought it was common knowledge that when you buy a used car, you know, there's a stereotype of the used car salesman, and they're not always as honest as they could be, and you're not buying a brand new vehicle, and always do your homework and things like that. I was actually shocked at how shocked the plaintiff was that there were some issues with, like you said, this 20-year-old car that she was getting for close to nothing.
What about this Carfax? You know, I'm actually amazed at what they look like. I've never seen one.
I've seen a few. There's a lot of information you could find there, which is why they tell you to do it,
before you
buying
buy
a
the
used car.
Right.
Because some people are not as honest about the history of the car that you're purchasing, and so it's a good way to keep track. So again, timeline, little messed up, should have looked that up before. But buyer beware. Like you said, you're buying an as-is used car unless you have a guarantee in writing. And she actually made out pretty well here today, given the fact that legally she had no recourse for anything, for any money, for any fixing
No, he
the car.
was entitled to much money on the car.
Yeah.
That Carfax I find fascinating. You know, I haven't bought a used car in many years, but I did buy in my time used cars. I always had a little bit of trouble with it.
Would have been nice to have.
But that Carfax that said 10 years ago it had 110,000 miles on it. And then it went to 176 and then back down to 120. It's fascinating, the amount of information that they keep on every vehicle. Just amazing.
Deborah Borelli is suing her ex-boyfriend, Osmond Brown, for harassment, personal property, and her dog, Luca.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
Hello, Kevin.
Case number 3086, Barrio versus Brown.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Borelli, you and Mr. Brown, according to you, had a friend's relationship for about 10 years.
Well, we were friends for the past about 5. We were in an actual relationship for 5 years.
Which 5 years?
The first 5, from 13 to 18.
And you lived together, and according to you, in 2018, something happened, that relationship changed. However, according to Mr. Brown, he continued to reside with you.
Yes, he lived on the couch.
Well, whatever. He continued to reside. You continued to reside together.
We stayed very good friends, yes.
Very good friends. You stayed together for 10 years.
Yes.
And then an incident occurred, you separated, and now each of you have a claim that the other has property that belongs to them. That's long and short of this case. One of the items, Mr. Brown, I see that absolutely adorable dog. Will the dog be just as happy on the ground?
I don't know. I will try.
Okay. One of the things at issue is that adorable little dog. So it is your claim that the dog belongs to you, that when you and Mr. Brown separated, it was an acrimonious separation, and that you were forced to sign a document that gave him the dog. He took the dog, and you want the dog back. You also want back from him something called an oculus. Sarah, could you pull up what that looks like for me?
This is what it looks like.
Okay. An oculus is something that you put over your eyes, and it takes you into another world.
Yes.
Is that what happens?
It belongs to my grandson,
Virtual
yes.
reality.
It's just
Hold on, what?
Virtual reality, they call it.
Do you use it?
No.
Do young people, kids use it? Is that what it's used for,
They're
Sarah?
popular. Pretty popular.
Popular?
Yeah.
Your other grandparents use it?
I don't think they'd be able to figure it out.
No. I know these grandparents don't use it. Do you have an Oculus?
My son has an Oculus.
And how old is he?
12.
12. Kevin, do you have an Oculus?
No, ma'am.
No. Out in the audience there, raise your hands if you own an Oculus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that some people who are adults, not old adults, but adults, do have these toys. You don't use it.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And it is your claim that in addition to the dog, Mr. Brown took the Oculus that belonged to your grandson.
Right.
Mr. Brown said he was given the Oculus because your grandson broke his tablet. And you want a little money for some traveling that she did that she promised to pay you back for. Is that right?
We
Is that right?
Yes.
You want some money for traveling?
Yes.
Okay. So let's deal with the dog first, since that to me is the most important issue. By the way, Miss Baril, where's your grandson?
back in Buffalo.
Who is this?
His mother and my daughter.
She doesn't live with you.
No.
But the grandson lives with you.
He did. He stayed.
He
with-
did?
He stayed
When
with
you were
me.
together?
He goes back and forth.
And how old is he?
16.
Okay. Because one of the things Mr. Brown says is that the 16-year-old isn't very good with the dog.
Well, the dog, he is a chewer. He's chewed up a lot of my grandson's things.
Luca has chewed up your grandson's things.
Several of his headphones and earbuds, and he's chewed up our shoelaces. And so he tries to discipline the dog, and I don't really discipline dogs.
So you wouldn't necessarily, as a dog owner, discipline your dog the same way as your grandson has disciplined the dog. Did he ever hit him?
I don't think he's hit him hard. I mean, I think he may have tapped him on the butt a couple times, maybe done his nose a couple times. I don't know. He was very frustrated that he was constantly chewing his stuff.
Okay. How old is this dog?
He will be 2 in April.
When you got him, you and Mr. Brown were living together.
Yes.
I must tell you, Miss Burrell, the dog looks very happy with Mr. Brown.
He was very happy with me, too.
May have been. I'm sure he wasn't happy when your grandson was disciplining him different from the way most normal people and adults would discipline a dog. Because Mr. Brown is certainly going to tell me about other instances of discipline that he observed that your grandson inflicted on the dog.
I'm not aware of any
Okay, but you were aware enough, Miss Burrell, to tell me that in your home, the dog was disciplined in a way that you would never discipline a puppy, because a dog that's not quite 2 is still a young dog. Some chew things and some don't. All right. What, if anything, did you observe with regard to Miss Borelli's grandson doing with the dog?
He sprayed hairspray in the dog's eyes one day and told her that he thought that it was his butt. That's what he told her. Why are you spraying his butt? You don't know his face from his butt, that you gonna spray him in the eyes?
Deborah Borelli claims her ex-boyfriend, Osmond Brown, owes for harassment, an Oculus headset, and the return of her dog, Luca. Osmond is countersuing Deborah for personal property and travel expenses.
Now, when was the dog purchased?
I got him on December 19th, 2022, as a birthday present for my other Pomsky. She's just like him and loves to play. And I have an old Shih Tzu that would not play with her. And then I came across a Facebook post about a woman who was getting rid of a dog that was swimming in her basement. Well, he lived in the basement. And when I contacted her, she said, I'll send you some pictures. And it was a couple pictures of Luca sitting on some stairs. And she said, oh, we went down in the basement the other day, and the basement was flooded, and he was swimming. I said, swimming? And she said, yeah, so we put him on the stairs. And I said, I'll be over.
So you took the
Osmond
dog.
and I went to look at him, and he made my other Pomsky a little nervous. So we went back, and Oz kept saying, you don't need another dog. She doesn't need a friend. She's got toys. You know, I said, I have to do something about this dog. The woman
And
was
Mr. Brown was with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you went together?
To look. And he said no. So I came home, and I thought about it, and I kept in touch with that woman, and she said, if you don't take him, he's probably just going to go to a shelter. I talked to Oz again. I said, I have to go get this dog. I have to. He's living on stairs.
Okay.
And so I purchased him. He was not happy about it, but I purchased him.
For how much?
$240. It started at $500. I told her I couldn't do it, so.
Okay. Mr. Brown, do you need a tissue?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Brown, first, do you recall, sir, going with Miss Borelli to pick up the dog?
Yes.
Were you with Miss Borelli when she purchased the dog?
Yeah, I bought the dog. I gave her the money to purchase the dog.
And where did you get the money from?
I worked.
Okay.
At that time.
Does Miss Borelli work?
She worked periodically. I got her 2 jobs for a company that I worked with. They were contractual for 90 days. She did that twice. And then she worked for the census.
Okay.
Every 10 years.
He would like to go and say hello to her.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Sweetheart. Okay. So when you went to pick up the dog, do you remember what month and year that was? Was that in December of 2022?
Yes, it was December of 2022.
And where did you take the money from?
My bank account at work.
Miss Borelli, who took out the money to pay for the dog?
He lent me the money.
Okay, so the answer is Mr. Brown paid for the dog then?
At that day, yeah.
Okay, fine. And when did you repay him for the money?
The following week.
Do you have any proof that you paid him back?
No, but he knows I did.
I didn't ask you what he knows. I asked you whether or not...
We didn't do receipts back then.
Okay, enough. You want to hold on to the dog for a second? Thank you. When you lived in the house for these 10 years, how much was the rent in the house?
There wasn't really rent. I pay a mortgage with my retirement from the post office.
Okay. And how much did Mr. Brown contribute towards that?
He had the gas and electric in his name.
Okay, so the gas...
And it varied.
Just a second. The utilities were in his name?
Yes. I paid the cable, the phone bill for 8 years, the mortgage.
Okay, there is a mortgage. And did he contribute anything towards the mortgage?
Not towards the mortgage, really.
But did he take money out of his bank or write you a check for anything other than the 2 utilities that you said are in his name that he pays?
Yes, he gave me different amounts. At one time it was 3,
so
4.
the answer is you actually lived in, as he put it, a domestic partnership for those 10 years.
It really was.
Okay, so let's be fair and easy about it. Now, Mr. Brown, what, if anything, did you observe with regard to Miss Borelli's grandson doing with the dog? By the way, the dog still chewing up your house?
I'm gonna answer both questions, but first I'm gonna answer the chewing of things first. The dog did have a problem chewing things because he had anxieties. His anxieties were surrounded by her grandson because of the fact that he would beat him. I'd sleep on the couch, like she said, for the last 5 years, I've been sleeping on the couch. When her grandson comes, he also sleeps on the couch. But sometimes in the middle of the night, like he's always on his computer doing something. So if he gets angry or something, he takes his frustrations out on the dog. The fact that I'm in the room and I'm sleeping and I let her know these things, she don't really discipline him. She just says, oh, this or oh, that.
He
sprayed hairspray in the dog's eyes one day and told her that he thought that it was his butt. That's what he told her. He thought he was spraying his butt. Why are you spraying his butt? You don't know his face from his butt, that you gotta spray him in the eyes?
What precipitated that?
I don't know. He's always trying to do things to the dog.
Did you see it?
I heard the spray and I heard the psst, and I heard the dog doing this here with his eyes, so I know something happened. If you smell it, you can see it.
Just a second. Did you confront her grandson about it?
Yes.
What did you say to him?
I said, don't spray this dog in the eyes. I even went and told her he's spraying the dog in the face with eyes. He said he thought it was the dog's butt.
Did you hear him say that?
Yeah, he told her that.
Okay. Yeah, you don't make that up, madam.
He wouldn't have heard the spray. He's in a complete...
What I'm telling you is he wouldn't have made up that story. Miss Borelli, there are lots of stories that you make up. He's not that imaginative. There are a lot of ways that you can say you can abuse a dog, but spraying the dog in the eyes with spray, and then that remark that a 16-year-old wise guy might say, you don't make that up.
I told him a good way to discipline an animal, including a cat that's doing something bad, is you get a spray bottle and you fill it with water.
Yes. Just look at me. Don't look at him. You get a spray bottle and fill it with water, and?
And you can put it on a light mist and you spray them.
But this is not what he did. He didn't spray the dog with water.
I believe that's what he did.
No, that's not what he said. He didn't say spray the dog with water. But now we're getting to the fact that he did, in fact, spray the dog.
With water.
Okay. The dog is staying with him. Period. End of discussion. He paid for it, $240, and unless you have proof that you took out $240 that was paid for the dog...
He loves the dog
just a
so
second.
much. Why is he trying to sell it back to me for $3,000
just a second.
I sold the
Let me tell you something. I understand that, Counsel, madam. You just explained that to me. When somebody comes over to you in Washington Square Park and goes like this, want a real Rolex? I would suggest to you that you know...
I knew they were counterfeit, and I bought them for an ex. And we were going through some jewelry, and he saw it. And he said, these are nice Rolex. They're not both his.
Deborah Borelli is accusing her ex-boyfriend, Osmond Brown, of harassment and wrongfully keeping her dog, Luca. Osmond is countersuing for personal property and travel expenses.
By the way, can I see the piece of paper that she signed giving you the dog?
Yes.
The top half was ripped off. There was more writing on the top half of that.
I will let Osmond Brown take my dog, Luca, in order to get Desmond to leave my home forever.
The top half says something completely different than
May I
ripped off.
I'd like to take a look at what you're showing me. This isn't this.
No, I don't have that.
Well, this isn't it.
That
what
shows you that he's trying to sell me the dog back.
If you want to buy it back, you can buy it back.
For $240?
Listen to me. He's got the dog. I will let him take the dog if he agrees to leave. That's what this document says.
Just for the day.
Just a second. That's not what this document says.
Because he's ripped it.
Just a second. You should have made a copy. It's ripped on both sides. Okay. Now, he wants the dog. He paid for the dog. As long as your 16-year-old grandson has access to your house, which you say that he does, the dog is staying with Mr. Brown. If it's his conscience as to whether or not he wants to sell it or not. Right now, the dog looks just fine. And I'm not sending this dog back to where there's a 16-year-old teenager who gets frustrated and takes out that frustration on a dog by over-disciplining the dog.
I don't think he over-disciplined.
This is not a tea party, madam. This is a ruling. This is when you have to listen.
Okay.
Kevin, get the dog and bring it to Mr. Brown. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There you go, good boy. Okay, now let's go to the Oculus. Mr. Brown, you have the Oculus.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't use it. That's what you told me before.
I don't use it. I have.
Just a second. You don't use it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you're going to give it back to the grandson because she doesn't use it. It was the grandson's Oculus. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now we have a counterclaim. And your counterclaim is that when you had this argument, you left the house and you left some things there.
Yes, ma'am.
The most important thing in this collection, because I'm not getting involved in a collection of 3 sport jerseys or 2 T-shirts. I'm not getting involved with that. But you say you left your watch there. Where did you leave your watch?
It's in her bedroom. I have 3 watches there. One has a pink face, one has a blue face, and one is a Rolex that she gave me that the battery broke.
Okay. You don't mention any other watch but a Rolex.
Yes, ma'am.
And the Rolex was given to you by the plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am.
For what?
We were in a relationship.
Was it a birthday or a different event that you gave him the Rolex?
I didn't give him a watch.
Oh, can I see the watches, please? Whose watches were they?
I had bought them for an ex in New York City. We had gone to the Statue of Liberty, and we were at Battery Park, and a man opened his raincoat and asked me, did I want watches?
Oh,
and
these
I
are
bought
the 2,
many of them.
Just a second. And these are the 2 watches that you bought?
Yeah, lots of them.
But these are the 2 men's,
$30 a piece.
But these are the 2 men's watches that you bought?
Yes.
Okay.
So he...
Shh. Would you turn these men's watches over to the defendant, please?
Thank you.
No, they're not his. I never gave them to him.
Just a second. I'm giving them to him.
No, you can't. There's 2 of them there. I wanted him. He doesn't even know which one it was, and they're counterfeit.
Oh, just a second. I understand that, counterfeit, madam. You just explained that to me. When somebody comes over to you in Washington Square Park and goes like this, want a real Rolex? I would suggest to you that you know.
I knew they were counterfeit, and I bought them for an ex, and we were going through some jewelry, and he saw it, and he said, these are nice Rolex. They're not both his.
He's getting them both.
Oh, my
Both fake
God.
Rolexes. He's getting both fake Rolexes for which you paid $30.
Okay.
Now, what other expenses do you think she's responsible for?
So we planned a trip to Atlanta with me and her grandson and my mom.
When?
So we were supposed to go on October 28th. It was a non-refundable trip. So once I paid for it. Once I paid for it, she's supposed to pay her $850. She never paid her $850 because when she got her money, she threw me out the house and said she's not going on the trip. So that's when I told her I need that $850 back.
Just a second. You paid the $850 for what?
To fly to Atlanta.
Oh, to fly?
To fly, yes.
To fly?
Yes.
Okay. And that was just on a vacation trip?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go?
Yes.
Who else did you go with?
My mother.
And you flew there?
Yes.
And you knew she wasn't going, so what did you do with her tickets?
I couldn't do anything with her tickets. I left everything there. I told her on the phone she could still go. It's still there for you. You can still go. She said, I don't want to be in the same hotel with you or something like that.
She's not going.
So,
okay, you're taking the dog home. I expect the Oculus to be packed and take it to a post office, box it, and send it back to her grandson. Now, you want it to go to your house? The Oculus, do you want to your house?
But how will I know that he's not going to break it?
You know, because I'm telling him not to break it, to put it in a box and send it back. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, don't break it.
I won't.
He won't. Okay, we're done here. He gets the dog, you get your Oculus. We're finished. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
It's the dog that's worth money, and that's why he wants it, because he's greedy and ruthless.
The only way I felt like I could help this dog is if I got her to sign him over to me so I could leave.
He's going to turn around and sell the dog. saw a really beautiful Pomsky for sale.
No, this dog is part of our family. This dog is loved by 2 families now. He has a bunch of kids that love him and play with him, and either at my brother's house or at my house.
Because I rescued that dog. He did not want me to rescue that dog. That dog had a terrible life until I went and rescued him.
It's almost impossible to separate these domestic partnerships and property and what you spend. You know, you have courts set up for divorces, but you don't for living together as almost marrieds. But the papers indicated that he took the dog, and there's no question. He didn't say he's taking the dog for one day because she wanted him to leave. And she said the condition was she would give him the dog if he left the house forever. That was in the paper. And her statement that I was just giving him the dog for one day just doesn't fit with that. And he paid for the dog. The dog looks very well taken care of. And she acknowledged that the grandson did, in fact, abuse the dog. So it was a very easy decision. And the Oculus was made easy, actually, by him. When I said, do you use the Oculus? He said, no.
Give it back to its owner.
Give it back to its owner. Anyway, living together is never easy when you have to dissect it and divide it at the end of the day.